This is West Virginia Morning. I'm Teresa Wills. As data centers begin to populate much of Appalachia, residents are increasingly concerned about how much of the costs will be passed down to them.
Last year, during the heat, it was $569 was my highest electric bill last year. I'm retired. I can't afford a $1,011, $1,200 electric bill.
That story and more coming up this West Virginia Morning. Support for West Virginia Morning is provided by Hope Gas, committed to the growth and development of West Virginia to strengthen the community. Information at wvisforhope.com. Legislative interims got underway at the state capitol in Charleston over the weekend, a chance for lawmakers to address significant issues that come up between the regular 60-day session that begins in January. On the agenda Sunday, the Joint Standing Committee on Government Organization heard testimony about flock cameras, which allow automated license plate reading. Opponents say they're invasive and allow mass surveillance of ordinary citizens. Supporters say they help solve crime. On Tuesday, the Legislative Oversight Commission on Health and Human Resources Accountability meets to look into Medicaid work requirements and the recent concerns about school clothing vouchers for the needy children. Democrats in the West Virginia House of Delegates are renewing their call for Governor Patrick Morrisey to call the legislature back in for a special session. The reason address what they call a crisis with the public school funding formula. Delegate Mike Pushkin is the chair of the West Virginia Democratic Party.
The Republicans in the legislature failed to take this up during the 60-day session, and now we are hearing of more and more schools closing, communities losing their schools. We didn't do anything to adequately fund special education needs to our counties, and we are in a crisis situation.
The West Virginia Board of Education approved a partial state intervention of Harrison County schools last month and extended the intervention already underway in Roane County. The full board meets for its next regularly scheduled session on Wednesday. United States and West Virginia state flags at the Capitol complex in Charleston and all state facilities in Jefferson County will be flown at half-staff until sunset on Friday. Governor Patrick Morrisey ordered the flags lowered in honor of former state senator Herb Snyder, who died last week. Snyder represented the Eastern Panhandle in the West Virginia Senate from 1997 to 2005, and again from 2009 to 2017. As a legislator, he served as vice chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee and chair of the Senate Government Organization Committee. Before serving in the legislature, Snyder was elected to the Jefferson County Commission in 1990. Morrisey said Snyder cared about people and solving problems. He was 72 years old. This is West Virginia Morning. I'm Teresa Wills. It's 7:54. Sunny skies today, scattered rain and thunderstorms, high temperatures in the 80s and 90s. Rain and thunderstorms tonight with lows in the 60s. Residents across Kentucky, Tennessee, and West Virginia have packed up public meetings in recent months to speak out against data centers. A recurring concern is how the developments could affect the cost of electricity. For the Appalachia Mid-South Newsroom, WEKU's Curtis Tate reports this comes as utility prices have already been on the rise.
On a steamy summer evening, the Kentucky Public Service Commission meets at Hancock County High School about 20 miles east of Owensboro. They're here to discuss a data center project in the county seat of Hawesville. More than a dozen residents speak, none of them in support. For some, like Gary Elder of Lewisport, electricity bills were top of mind.
Last month at the house was $440. Last year, during the heat, and I'm sure it will be that way probably my next bill, it was $569. Was my highest electric bill last year. I'm retired. I can't afford a $1,011, $1,200 electric bill.
Residents weren't only worried about their current finances. Christy Compton of Falls of the Rough says she's expecting her first grandchild in November. She tells the commissioners she wants future generations to be able to afford to live in the area.
But you have to look at it in the long run and think, what are we going to do for our future? If you worry about your children and your grandchildren, think about that, please.
Data center proposals have multiplied across Kentucky and the surrounding region in the past year. Rural Hancock County, with just under 10,000 people along the Ohio River, is one of the battlegrounds. In July, Maryland-based developer TerraWolf signed a 20-year contract with AI company Anthropic to convert a former aluminum smelter in Hawesville into the justified data campus. It would employ about 100 workers and generate millions of dollars in tax revenue to support local schools. But some at the meeting, like Jacob Hodge of Lewisport, aren't sold on the project.
Emotions in here are high. None of us want this. We weren't even able to know it was happening before the land was sold.
TerraWolf representatives attended the Hancock County meeting, but they did not speak. They declined to comment for this story. However, in a presentation to investors on August 5th, CEO Paul Prager explained why TerraWolf is scaling up its presence in Kentucky.
The Commonwealth is increasingly attractive to prospective tenants because of its power infrastructure, business environment, and the constructive engagement we have seen from state, utility, and local stakeholders.
The Kentucky PSC needs to approve or reject TerraWolf's contract with regional electric cooperative Big Rivers and local utility Kenergy for the Hawesville site. Big Rivers has signed President Donald Trump's ratepayer protection pledge, which aims to shield customers from the cost of building power plants and transmission lines to support data centers. Residential customers of Kenergy pay some of the highest monthly bills in Kentucky, according to Heat Map. In June, the average Kenergy bill was more than $200, an increase of 32% since 2021. Jamie Van Nostrand is former chairman of the Massachusetts Department of Public Utilities. He says electricity customers are likely to be on the hook for new power infrastructure.
I think generally data centers will cause higher rates.
Regulators and local elected officials have the power to protect electricity customers with legal enforcement that Trump's voluntary pledge lacks. Kentucky lawmakers also considered ratepayer protections this year, but it stalled in the Senate. On August 6th, Governor Andy Beshear signed an executive order meant to ensure data centers bear any increases to electricity costs, not residents. TerraWolf's project in Hancock County could be a preview of what residents can expect 4 hours east. In May, the company announced an even larger project, about 20 miles west of Ashland, called the Muskie Data Campus. For the Appalachia Mid-South Newsroom, I'm Curtis Tate.
This story is part of a weekly series exploring data centers across our region, was produced as part of the Appalachia Mid-South Newsroom, a collaboration between NPR and several public radio stations in West Virginia, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Visit the special series page under the news tab on our website to find a link to this story and more. West Virginia Morning is a production of West Virginia Public Broadcasting, which is solely responsible for its content. Support for our news bureaus comes from West Shepherd University and Marshall University School of Journalism and Mass Communications.